Hey, I'm Cynthia, storyteller, spiritual softie, hija de too many identities to count, and one half of this diasporic duo.
And I'm Amy, creative curator, intuitive thinker, hija de inmigrantes, and this is
Decaf SOUL.
Okay, girl, we're here.
We are here. This is our very first episode, so we thought that we would honor it by wearing power blazers.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Very pink.
Very green, very bright, very like statement, like we're here to stay and you can't forget us and we're ingrained in your brain forever.
Also, for millennials out there, it's very giving like Fairly Odd Parents, like Cosmo, Wanda vibes.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I feel like I'm definitely a Cosmo at heart, so it definitely works out.
So do we want to tell our audiences why we decided to create this podcast in the first place?
Yeah, well, it's a funny story. You know, we went to school together and we went to college together. We met there. We were both commuters in a mostly like living on campus kind of school. So, you know, it's a different experience when almost all of the students are there and they're always connected and they have this kind of like vibe all together. And then the commuters are like, you know, we had our little lounge, like we, you know,
there was a space dedicated to like just commuters
and like
too.
People would like fall asleep and like put their couches together and wait for the next class. But it was funny because we're both Ecuadorian.
We're both from Elizabeth. Shout out Elizabeth, New Jersey.
We both went to an all-girl Catholic school. Not the same ones, but they were close to us. And we somehow both ended up in the theater department at Drew University.
That's where we met, mind you. Like, we didn't know each other until that first theater class.
Yep.
At Drew.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw you.
It was in the black box.
Yeah, it was at the black box theater. And I saw you and I'm like, that girl looks super cool.
I swear to you, I don't remember our... Oh my God, that's so sad. But I don't remember.
That's okay. I don't remember that either.
Like,
I just remember seeing you too.
How did we end up like chatting?
It was me. I swear to God, like you came in, you sat down. I was early for class.
Okay.
You were a little late.
That sounds about right.
You were a little late. And I was sort of sitting more up there and I saw you. And I think it was one of those moments where the teacher was asking us something and you answered and I'm like, oh, love it. I love that answer. Good. And then we stepped out. I'm remembering this now. We stepped out of class and I said, hi, my name is Amy. And you're like, oh, I'm Cynthia. Just like that. And then that's how we sort of met and got to know each other.
That was kind of that. And then we did all of college together. We even studied abroad together. So that was really fun.
We did.
We went to London. We went to Paris. We went to Scotland together. We did Italy. Oh my gosh.
I think that was it for the most part.
Yeah, because no.
We did Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland,
we did
Scotland.
Ireland. Yeah. That's it. That's what we did. Yeah.
Ireland,
that was
Scotland,
pretty fun.
Italy, and obviously England.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were fun times.
4 countries. But yeah, and then we graduated, life happened and whatever. But we did have a conversation maybe like
over 10 years ago.
10 years ago, and we were like, oh, we should do a podcast. Like, we're so funny.
And I think that's kind of, first of all, we were like babies. Yeah. And we just, one thing that I know about us is that every time we talked, we always have like really good conversations.
Yes.
About literally anything.
Anything about life, at all. About politics, about religion, about
women's health, like immigrant community.
Some deep, dark, emotional stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean,
we went through it.
Well, that's the thing about sisterhood, right? Like when you really feel it, it's because you can talk about anything with anyone and ask them about, you know, like there's no filter. We've known each other for so long that there isn't a filter. You can just like, hey, like this is happening. The worst thing ever. Like I'm really embarrassed to tell anybody else, but I'll probably tell you, which is, you know, like that's really nice to have that one person because the older you get, it's like it's harder to find people to talk,
so
and it's not even other people's fault. We're all
a woman in your 30s. It's so hard.
I don't know if it's because there's a lot like on our plates and like life, and then like or also like you get a little like you know.
I have my friends. Like
I don't have to do
this
extra thing. Yeah. I've gotten like lazy lately. I'm like, I don't have to make reach out. It's also a lot of
energy.
That's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
The amount of energy that you have to muster up to like introduce yourself all over again. It's a lot.
It's even like
so
this,
much.
like this first episode is like a lot. You're like, oh my God, I have to do the introductory thing. Like I have to tell people why I'm here. I have to tell people the birth of this idea. But back to the birth of this idea.
Yes, back
why
to the birth
is it
idea.
Decaf Soul?
Okay, so y'all should know it was a lot of back and forth with the names.
Oh my gosh.
We talked about Decaf Latinas because we're both Latina, but we felt like the Latina part was sort of boxing us in a little bit too much.
Because we're both Ecuadorian. We both are, well, you were born here. I was born there. But we grew up here. Like, you know, English actually is my second language. So, you know, Latinidad is part of me. It's part of you. But also it's not what we want. Like, okay, so backtracking. There was this little video on Instagram we saw the other day. Like, we were like, this is so funny. And it's this guy. And he's like, you know, I love Latinas and I love how they are.
Yeah.
But he is like, you know.
But like, what about the decaf Latinas?
The ones that are like calmer, but they're just like, they're not as spicy, but they still got something to say. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not like, you know, it's not about, you know, maybe they're not as bold, but they're still, you know, who they are. Yeah. Those are like decaf Latinas. And we were like, oh,
what we're decaf Latinas?
Decaf Latinas? Like, 'cause I always felt a little like, oh, maybe I'm not like, it's not about the stereotype, but I guess in a way, a little bit it is. It is a stereotype that is fed by like media and stuff. And also we have a way of being. That's fair. There's nothing wrong with stereotypes are born from like reality, or, you know, it's not cliches. All those things are born from something real. Yeah. So it's not unfair to say that, you know, we are bold and spicy and loud. And then like that's
which we are, which
is portrayed out in the world. But a lot of the times I don't always identify with that, or maybe you don't always identify that. So I think that's why when we saw that video and we like sent it to each other, it was like, oh my God, like that's so funny. Like, and then it kind of, we're like, well, what about this being Decaf Latinas? And then
we kind of like, okay, well, you know, part of the reason why we wanted to do the podcast too is, you know, we also grew up between Elizabeth and Newark. So both of our families, you know, they did immigrate from Ecuador. Mm-hmm. I know my family has been here for a very long time. I know your mom, too, has also been here. And
we got here in 99. Yeah. So I remember, like, 2000. I remember that being a big deal and us being new in this country. Like, totally. So, like, basically, like, we've been here since the turn of the century.
Yeah. It's been a long time. But I think one of the other things that we wanted to do this podcast is to create community, to create space, especially for people that I feel like can understand our experience, whether or not you're Hispanic, whether or not you're a different race or ethnicity. It's that same cultural aspect and who you feel and how you feel you identify as.
Yes. Like, I think also that was the whole thing about the coffee. It was like coffee is all over the world, and people from different cultures take it differently. They like surround it around it differently, like, you know, and it also connects people in a very like, let's have coffee, let's sit down, let's talk. There's also so much history behind coffee and how it brought communities together, and like how coffee shops were the place where like revolutionaries talked and like stuff in like South Asia or whatever. Like, I think that's a really interesting factor of how coffee houses began, or you know, there's just so much history connected to it, or how like government realized that like coffee got people moving, so they started giving it to like the factory workers, or, you know, like if you really like take your time and like go through the history, and I don't know, I love that there's a story of coffee for every like community around the world. And so like I was like, well, we can always tie that. Like, let's talk to people. How do they like? How do they like to take their coffee? Like, how about Amy? How do you like to take your coffee?
Well, right now, actually, we are drinking coffee right now. Live. So like, it's actually a staple in our podcast. So I feel like my coffee changes like every 5 years.
I get that. Kind of like how allergies come and go.
Yeah. I am not a big fan of like black and like sugar, which is ironically enough is exactly what I'm drinking right now. I'm getting used to it though. Like, I really do like it. My first go would probably be something like café con leche, sin azúcar, no sugar. Sometimes decaf, you know. hence the name. But I think I like a lot of flavor in the coffee too.
Do you like iced or hot?
You know, I want to say iced, but my mother would kill me if I say that.
That's how I feel about it. I think iced coffee is
like,
such like an insult to coffee. But,
I know.
But also, like, I drink iced coffee when it's really hot, but I'm like, no, it's meant to be hot.
Sometimes though, like the hot coffee is very, very good. Like even in like the 100-degree weather,
Yeah.
I would do that like all the time.
I mean, we're Ecuadorian. Like, we drink like soup and coffee at like the middle of the day at like 90 degrees, and you're like sweating, but you're still drinking,
you're still
like,
enjoying
your
it.
soup
You're
and your,
still like
and your
really
hot
liking
coffee.
it.
Like, it's so funny. I don't have like a time when I drink coffee. Like, I drink it all the time. Like, there's no only in the morning. Like, maybe one day it'll happen, but
I'm like as soon as I wake up most days, and then like around 4-5 o'clock, and then if I'm with family, we drink coffee
at
again.
night. Yeah,
at night.
And I go right to sleep.
It's just constant.
Not 1 second is missed of sleep. But yeah, like, oh wait, how do I like my coffee?
Yes, sorry. How do you like your coffee? I know how she likes her coffee. But
Mine's also changes. To be honest, it really is like a thing where I can't marry myself to one. But lately, I've really been digging like strong, black, and sweet. Not too sweet, where it's like a candy sweet. Like sweet,
Ooh.
where you can just kind of like taste the sugar, but the coffee is mostly there.
I like that.
You know, like, but it didn't always. That changes. Like, sometimes I love my, like, you know how Portuguese people have the galão, where they have like like the
galão.
perfect mix of like
So
milk
good.
and foam and coffee.
Yes, love that.
We could have one of those soon.
Yeah, I know. What part of we have lots of ideas, guys. We really do for our podcast, but since this is episode 1, we don't want to give it all away. You know, we forgot to talk about the second part of our name, soul.
Yes.
So I think soul came about, again, we were like decaf Latinas, decaf dreamers, and then we started like dwindling down to decaf con soul, sort of like a play on words with like decaf con leche.
Yeah, the Spanglish.
Yeah.
We were trying to, you know, like.
But we were like, oh, that's so long. Like, we don't want that name to be like super long.
Or confusing to people.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of how it birthed. Because
we
people keep
We
asking the
shortened
question, like, what is it about coffee? And it's like, actually, no, it's about community and how sometimes coffee can bring that apart, like can and does bring that together in a lot of ways. Like, you know, like you walk down, so we're in Newark, right? So you walk down Ferry Street and there's a coffee shop, and like every 3 shops there's a coffee shop, and everyone's around there every morning, and it's like, this smells like espresso all the time, and it just feels like home. Like, you know, like neither of us are actually from Newark, but we've grown up around the Ironbound for so long that like being like, it's just, I love that smell with some nice toasted Portuguese bread. Like, so we're you know, we come from a very multicultural kind of,
it's
like,
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because I especially like Elizabeth being so close to Newark, it's like you're literally kind of blending in together. And I know a lot of like the Portuguese community, Ecuadorian community, Brazilian community. Like, there's just it's literally like a melting pot up in here. But soul. What do you feel? What do you feel like soul speaks to for you?
I think in a lot of ways, kind of like the spirituality of like how, because I'm a believer, right? I walk with faith, and I think like there's something beautiful about finding out what other people believe in, and how they walk through the world, and like, I don't know. It's just like something so like let's have really deep conversations over some really good coffee. Let's go find other ways that people have coffee, and let's introduce people to something they've never tried before. I think that's kind of like all the vibe, all the things that we're trying to do in this podcast. Right? You know, I guess
I love
would be
that.
it.
That's, oh my God, how am I gonna top that?
Go ahead.
I think soul. I mean, very much similar to what you were saying, but I think soul it's like the core, right? It's like the core, the essence of who you are. And I feel like given the space to have the freedom and also the comfort level to express yourself, because we live in a world, I feel today, where God, it's social media. Everyone's always expressing themselves, right? Everyone's sort of like out there and they're making their mark. They're saying what they need to say. And I love that. I think it's great. Can it be overwhelming? Yes, absolutely. And it's a lot of information to take in. And sometimes I feel like you kind of have to backtrack a little bit and just be in a quietness and just remind yourselves like what it is that you're doing here, why I'm here on this earth or this universe or however you want to call it. And just sort of remember back to who you are, that very essence. And I love that. I love that when I talk to people, when I talk to you, I like to sort of, I don't want to say push the boundary, but respectfully so. I kind of like want to figure out, you know how sometimes you have conversations and they give you like surface level answers?
Yeah.
And that's great. I totally respect that. Like if you feel comfortable and you want to share it, that's okay. But most times if people are comfortable, they're going to tell you what it is that they're feeling. They're going to tell you what's sort of like in the pit of their stomach.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, like let's disarm some people and like, let them feel like they're at home so that they can.
Hence our set. Like look at shout out.
Darkest secrets.
Shout out to our set. Like we're trying to make like a very homey like vibe. So we have like a lot of like our books and like our little animal familiar right there, our little fox. So it's just we wanted to create a space that really is like welcome to our home. Welcome to our casa.
And let's talk. And you know, when we're at home, like it's a very big family tradition for us, where we go home, we have coffee. Like my sister's in college, I moved out already, and my brother's the one that's still lives in the house. So like when we finally all get together, my sister lives in her house. Like so when we finally all get together, we have these like big family discussions, and like. We talk about politics. Not everybody has the same ideals.
Yeah.
We talk about and like we really have very different opinions in our home. And it's crazy because like when you go out into the world and you go online and the social media, there is a lot of division. Whatever. Okay, it's like a hot word, but it's the truth. And like if someone doesn't believe what you believe, it's like let's block them. But you can't block your mom. You can't block. I mean, I don't feel like I could. And I don't think that a certain position can always, it's tough because I know there's a lot of things of like talk of like, well, if you believe in this, I'll never speak to you again. But
can get heavy,
I think that's a lot. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. It could be on, you can tell me from your side. But like, I think for brown communities, like it's a little bit harder to just be like, I'm gonna cut this person off because they voted for this person. Like I feel like that would be disrespectful or whatever. So we have this kind of like a wall. Don't
get me wrong. There have been some heavy conversations, okay, especially during like this era that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And there's family members that have chosen a different direction than I would choose, but I can only say from my experience and what I feel and state my opinion. That's it. I'm not trying to change your minds. I'm not trying
100%.
to do
I think that's really it.
I don't think any of that.
And like this is a place where we want to say like, come, like if we're open to having a serious conversation where I'm not going to try to change anyone's mind, but can we meet maybe in the middle sometimes? Like I would love that. I would love to find some sort of common ground sometimes with people and show the public that we can. I know it seems crazy, especially because things are like so black and white for everybody right now. But I think that's also another goal of like, let's sit down, like let's feel like we're at home, and let's really, because I do it all the time with my family where we have very opposing views about everything, and it's like, no, let's sit down. Let's see what you mean. Okay, I want to hear it from your side. I may not agree. I don't think so, but this is why. Like I don't think you're dumb. I think like maybe you just have a different way of seeing the world, and
that's okay.
Yeah, like that's totally okay. I would never impose my beliefs on somebody else, and I don't expect other people to impose them on me. But I also hope that we can live in peace together, regardless of how different we see the world.
That's so funny that you say that, because that term, like breaking the generational cycle, so I feel like that literally happened recently with my family and my own sibling. And it started off as a conversation of like, you know, it was heated, right? Like it was like the normal way of like, okay, like we're kind of like our voices are getting a little louder, you know, like I'm over here and they're over here and then we keep going this way and that way. And I'm like, ooh, it's getting a little too hot. And so I don't know what happened, but my brain sort of shifted. And like, I almost feel like I forced myself to be like, you're not trying to fight this person right now.
That was your frontal lobe.
You know what I mean? Like growing. You're just trying to, you're just talking.
Yeah. That was your frontal lobe being like, all right, I gotta chill out. Yeah. Like, this is not productive. Like, all right, fam, let's
otherwise I would have been like,
count to
like
10,
you're
take
wrong.
A breathe. You know, the other day I literally like we were all yelling at like for something. I don't remember what everybody was arguing about at the house. Like we're just so loud.
That's the thing you forget.
And then like everybody was in the middle of screaming and I was like, hey, everybody. Okay, let's start to count. 10. I didn't even say we were counting. I was like 10.
Damn, you gave them the countdown.
9. And my mom's like, she was like so angry, but then she started laughing because I didn't stop. I was like 8. And then everybody was like 7. And I was like, and then we started yelling like 5 minutes later again.
The situation.
But it did work for a little bit. So I thought it was really funny because I was like, I didn't think that was gonna work because Isn't
it funny that you try different things and it's always your family that you're testing these things with? It's never like actual people. But you know, it is what it is, and I think that feeling of sort of you're kind of scared to say the thing that you're about to say, but there's something in you like that courage that comes up and is like, no, just say it, see how it goes.
Yeah. And then sometimes it doesn't always come up. Like sometimes
totally.
Sometimes I'm still a chicken, like, you know, because I don't. Oh, it's so interesting. Like talking about politics with people from like South America versus talking about politics from here, or talking about politics with people from the Middle East, like, or people from Africa. Like they always have a different nuance than Americans do. And oh my God, I think that's so interesting because like, it's not necessarily just, like Americans aren't paying attention. They're just feeding into the propaganda. It's like everybody, I don't know. We just ingest. I don't know. Sometimes it might be a cultural thing too. It's very interesting to me, and that's why I want like to bring people in and talk about like and have those different perspectives of like how do you see it? And it's tough sometimes because you're not always going to agree with people.
And you know, it is tough, and I think part of that toughness is that we're not in those countries either. We're looking at it from like the lens that we're living here, the American lens. And
there is a certain privilege to like it's not easy. Like America is it's tough, right? There's like everything is expensive or whatever, but there is like a ease to our lives that I think we take for granted because we don't realize how things are outside. Like when my family and I go to Portugal, everybody's on chill mode, you know. We're from tri-state Portugal, area where you know you go out of the country and you step foot in JFK and everybody is running. It's so funny. Yeah, like I always felt that. Like whenever like I've gone to a different country and I get to a different country. Like, do you remember that airport in Italy when we were leaving for Rome and it was like the chillest airport in the world? Like
oh my God, yes.
And it didn't even feel like a real airport.
It was so different.
It was so tiny and like whatever. Like and everybody's like taking their time and you don't know who you got to talk to because there's no signs anywhere. It's like that all over the world.
We're like.
You get to JFK and like, you know, and or like people are boarding the planes and everybody's chill and like nobody's got a pep in their step because they don't have anywhere to go. They're on vacation. And then you land in JFK and literally people are hauling out the gate. Like they're just like, let me get out of here because I got 17 jobs I got to get to. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a different vibe. And I think like we're so like part of American culture is the hustle. That we get so like I do it too. We all do it. It's never a pointing a fingers thing. Anything that I say about other people, usually I've said it 10 times more about myself, you know? So it's like, but you do notice that. And we're so like stuck in our head about like running and going and going and going that we I think sometimes we forget.
There's a shift happening, dude. Like there's a change. Like yes. I can feel people slowing down because it's just so much.
They've been running and like while everything is getting more expensive, right? And you're like, I'm running and I'm running and I'm running more and I have a second job and I have a third job, but I should have some leg room. But I can't because everything gets like
there's like no space to like breathe.
Right. And so I think people are just frustrated because they're like, I'm working my butt off. I really am trying, y'all. Like I'm working so hard. Like let's like, I want to reap
Like,
the
you want to see the
benefits.
results.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
and I think people are frustrated because they're like, okay, well, I've been working.
And it's like you're feeling like,
They're like,
constantly
I'm stuck. Yeah, so
Always
it's like,
stuck.
I think people are just frustrated, you know, and it's like,
Well, funny, because I feel like we've definitely been on that
Yeah.
same path, like being like frustrated. And I think one of the huge things why we wanted to start the podcast is because it was sort of healing for us too. We wanted like a creative outlet to sort of
yeah.
bounce ideas back from each other, because it can get pretty lonely, girl. It can get lonely just being
That's
alone in
another
your
thing.
thoughts.
Yeah, just like hustling and being like living life, and you forget that you can
Oh, yeah.
have community
Yeah.
and have conversations with people, and like,
You know, it's crazy because I see that a lot, like building community, creating community.
I know it
But-
does feel like a kitschy word, like,
Yeah, it does. And I'm like, but how? How do I,
Yeah.
where is my community? How do I
I
find
will even
it?
say that I feel that as like, so I converted to I've been like, so I'm going on my 3rd year, and I at first was like, oh, I'm not a big like community person. I'm a bit of a loner, but in general I did want that community, right? And I was like, but then I was like, well, I don't want to go online and go look for people. Like, I never have done that. Like, why would I start now? So it is even on, like, if I can say just from like, because we all have different perspectives, from
Yeah.
that perspective, yeah, sometimes it is a little bit lonely because you're like trying to meet new people, and I'm also like not a meet new people person, and like, so I'm like, I want to have these conversations about this thing that I'm learning all about, you know, Islam, but sometimes Google is your best friend, and like, you know, reading the Quran, and that's all I have, but that's okay, because that's okay, but you know, like, there is this, we all want community, we look
We all
for
want
it,
it. We
it's
all want
human
it.
nature, that's okay, and like, you know, and sometimes we trip up because we're so like, please, like, I want my village, you know, I want
Yeah.
to form my village, and
Yeah.
I want to share my experiences with people, and I want to hear what other experiences people
Same.
have. Like, that's actually more fun than for me. I don't know for you, but
No,
like,
that's
I actually
why
prefer
I'm like, you know what?
listening to people.
If I feel like I can't find my community, let me
Make
just make
it.
it. Let me just make something small.
yeah,
And then
and then this kind
this
of
kind of happened. Yeah, this kind of came together.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Okay. Do we want to tell the world, you know, what they can expect from us? Like, sort of the type of topics that we want to talk about?
What we gonna talk about our next episode?
Let's do it.
So we are. Let's see. What are we doing next week?
Well, next week, we want to start inviting a guest to talk about, you know, what's kind of been happening right now in the world.
Especially in America.
PSA, we are not professionals in a lot of these topics and themes. These are strictly opinions and conversations that we want to talk about with other people and with between the two of us ourselves. So I think just one part of one of the most recent events that's been happening in this crazy world that we live in, we want to talk about the plethora of policies that are being put into place today, sort of garnering around unpacking immigration policies. And we're going to hopefully have a guest with us,
Yeah.
you know, who has like firsthand experience in that community. And that's the work that they do.
And how like that work impacts
Communities
in the future. What work does she do?
So
we
she
can introduce her a little bit.
We'll see her more in the next episode, but I know she's a very good friend of mine, and she has more experience in working with migrant children.
Great.
And I know that because of a lot of the recent executive orders that were being placed, I know that work has shifted for her. So I will, I know it's pretty rough, but she'll say more when she comes on, and we can really get into the nitty gritty of what she has experienced.
It's just like we're going to have a firsthand account of someone that is actually working with immigrants and children, and like those are hot words right now, and you're like on the news, but there's very little of like this is the sad part of like when you're talking about communities that are like a bit of a disadvantage, like an immigrant child with no parents in this country, or one that does and doesn't have any paperwork, is one of those communities that's a disadvantage, like, you know. And like, when do we talk to them? Yes, obviously, like, you don't want to talk to children, and there's like, yes, 100%, but when do we hear their stories? When do we hear, you know, it's a lot easier to just say, oh, the children, they're alone in cages, oh no, but like, what, has anyone spoken to them? Has anyone put like
clothes
the
on their
parents
back,
together,
a place where they can live?
and, like,
yeah.
Really, it's just like, let's hear from them, you know. Let's maybe not from them first, you know, but we
someone
have
who has worked with them,
and like the literal actual policies and what that means,
how it affects
everyone. Them, how it affects us. You know, because we again, we're like in this place of privilege where we don't really know. We just okay, like maybe when the raids started happening in Newark, like my mom texted me and she was like, you know, it looks quieter, like there's a lot less people on the street and like whatever. And that's crazy, but I was in my nice town far away and I didn't even feel a difference. So like, you know, like
just a couple miles away,
and just a couple miles away, and it's a whole different
world.
Yeah. I mean, we experience that all the time. You go from like, you drive from like Newark to Bloomfield to Nutley, right? This this is very Jersey Strong podcast. Yeah. But like, you literally can just drive through all the different like social systems and class levels, and you're like,
like Elizabeth and then Cranford, and it's
different worlds.
Two different worlds.
Different, like if you go to one high school versus the other, you might have like access to things that that other high school might not, you know, like, and how crazy it is that we're all packed in the same like zip codes or same districts and still have such different lives, right? And like, what does that
even mean?
Like,
what does that look for us?
Oh my God, imagine having like two kids from different, like kids or maybe like high schoolers, right? Like of different like towns, and like Eastwick versus like Seton Hall Prep or whatever, right?
Oh my God.
Like, and what does that feel like for them? And what kind of conversations do they have with each other? Do they even feel the difference? Because it's funny, right? Like think about it. Like, think about your immigrant parents. Like, we've had this conversation before when I'm like, they don't really ever feel offended. They're not like, oh, I just got microaggressed. They don't care. Like, they don't care about that. They're like, just make money, go to work, like, keep your head down.
Things that we're so like afraid for them, to them it's like, whatever. Yeah, like it's like brushing off the shoulder, and I'm like,
no nothing. Like, you know, it's like, guys, it's chill. Like but I mean, I think that comes with age.
It does.
And there's also like, we are in our social media, like, hot words, hot ticket item words. Like, we are like, oh yeah, like, I've been triggered. Like, no, like people say mean things all the time, and I mean,
I know,
you know what I mean? Like, people, you know, and so like, I think like it's part of our like culture, like maybe generationally, where we get like stuck in like, oh, like, was he just racist, or oh, did that like whatever or whatever.
Was that a microaggression?
Yeah, like those are big, right? And then you're like, your mom's like,
you know, that actually happened to us too,
right over her
I don't
head.
think you noticed it, but we'll talk more about that in a different episode.
Okay.
The many microaggressions that we've experienced, especially in school.
Yeah,
which is really bad,
during college, it was just really funny because you'd be like,
wait, weren't we like one of 3 Latinas in the theater department?
And then they gave us a nickname.
They gave us a name.
Which we
gave
loved.
us a nickname. What was it?
Preface it by, we loved it. But I think it was, so it was like a play on Pink Ladies, like from Greece.
Oh, yes. What was it?
Oh my God!
It was Latin ladies.
It
was Latin ladies. That is what they called us.
Like, people would be like, "Oh, we should make you guys jackets." We were like, "Okay."
We're like, "What?"
Honestly, I wouldn't have minded a jacket.
But it was weird because at the time we were like, "Yeah, we're the Latin ladies." Yeah, and then now
we're like, "Oh my God!" And we were like, now I feel like the program is there. I think there's a lot more diversity.
There is, and
that's a wonderful thing. But in that moment,
always be a little sprinkle of more.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But like in those years, I remember our class, like our year, like in the theater department, it was really us 3. So
yeah,
you know, like, shout out to Sandy Cakes.
Yeah,
love
Sandra.
You for life. But like, it was funny because we were like, yeah, I'm a Latin
We
lady.
did it.
And then I'm like, wait.
And it's great. You
Wait
know
a
what?
second.
It's great because whenever we had like those assignments, we always tried to bring it back to our cultural
And we
identity.
did. We really leaned into it in a beautiful way. Like we did this like,
We did a salon, remember?
yeah, we did the salon. We also did like the live action kind of like Brecht kind of thing.
Yes!
Where we,
Oh my
like,
God, that was so dope.
So the play was like about the feminicide in Juarez and like down the border in Mexico. And we basically, what we did was we made this script and we ran all through campus like someone was chasing us and reading out, like we were reading like facts and also like
we were and acting it out.
It was a very like
weird
meta thing.
Yeah.
And like I was like pulled into a truck of a car just so like, and then all of our class was like, okay guys, you just have to follow us along the campus while we do this crazy thing.
It was so bizarre doing that. Like I feel like I get
very
the point.
college-y, I think.
I get the point. I understood what the class was doing, but it's funny again that they would come to us because we were the only.
But that was the point. We leaned into the Latina thing. We were like, okay, let's talk about Frida. Let's do a salon about like this and Frida Kahlo.
Rita Moreno.
Like Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's the boss. I love her.
She's an amazing screenplay.
Playwright girl.
Playwriter. And a writer and also a musician. She went to
She is a
school
musician. Yeah.
as a musician.
She did. That was pretty cool.
She also helped write In the Heights.
She did.
Kiara Allegra who this.
She wrote Water by the Spoonful too. That was a great
an
play.
amazing. And so we really leaned into it, and it was actually really fun because we didn't know about certain things.
Yeah.
So we were learning along the way. Remember we took that class that was like theater in Latin America
with oh my god, Alexander Santiago Jurado. I think that's oh my god,
he was the best.
He was amazing.
And I learned through that class. I learned so much history about South America.
Yes.
I was like, this war happened.
Oh my god,
when?
that's where we learned Augusto Boal, Theater of the Oppressed.
Theater of the Oppressed. I still have that book in my
This is when our theater nerd is coming out, guys. So bear with us. But
sorry, it does. We did go to school for that.
We did.
But
back to what can the audience expect next week? So yes, we hope to bring back
reel it back in. All right, got it.
Guest all and. I mean, I think that's it for our first episode. We did it. Did we do it? Did we do it? Our first episode? Yay! So thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Well, our names.
Yeah, we should probably remind you who we are. Yeah, and where you can find us. So I'm Amy.
And this is...
Oh.
Okay.
Should we try it again?
Yeah. Let's rewind.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Cynthia.
And this is
Decaf SOUL.
Is it over? Is it over? Decaf SOUL is produced by WNN World News Network.
Follow us at Decaf SOUL Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify.
New episodes every Friday.